Hello, Steve White, Steve Out 79. Well, we'll talk about the whole Black Snake drama. I actually watched the teaser because I actually forgot all about it. Oh no, I watched it on HBO Max Europe. I meant to watch it on some random little YouTubers channel, so I didn't actually give them a view. So I'm not saying you have to boycott this show because of J.K. Rowling, but I am. But if you're a fan, I don't expect you to do that. That's ridiculous. You're not directly contributing to her campaign against trans people by watching the show. I do think that's ridiculous, but I just don't want to have anything to do with it. But yeah, I watched the trailer. It was fine. I'm like, okay. It seemed, the colours, I did see someone commenting on the colours seeing kind of muted and flat, and I'm like, yeah, it does. Like, where's the contrast? Where's the colour? Where's the life and the energy? It just seems a bit muted, which just it's just an annoying thing. You see, it's partly because of it's a technical thing where they use less light. They need less light now for cameras, so things are lit differently. You don't get the kind of color and contrast that you used to with the traditional old-fashioned sort of lighting they used to have for cameras. That's part of it, and also there does seem to be this trend where it's like people are afraid of color or anything too bright because it might be camp or has to be all dull and muted down, so people don't like react to it or something because someone might have an emotional reaction to color and might be threatened by it and have to say something. It's just this weird thing in Hollywood. It's been around for a decade or two. It's it really psychologically affects your enjoyment of some films. They just do not connect with you because there's no color, there's no life. It's just all muted and flat, and it's definitely a production issue we're having. But there's a bit of that in this. But I don't know, the new kid, Daniel Radcliffe, if I remember the film I watched 20-something years ago, I think it was 20 years ago. How long ago was Harry Potter, the first film? It had to... Yes, I was living in a house with a girl in 2001 or 2, and I know we were talking about Harry Potter when it first started, so it must have been more than 20 years since that film. So I remember him having just a lot of emotion and a lot of communication in his face. Like, it wasn't like he didn't just have some little flat kid face that didn't sort of move. This kid, I don't see the life behind his eyes. I don't see he just seems like a little kid. Ron seems a little bit better. That last scene where he just that was I'm like, okay. I hear Ron in the books was actually a much stronger character and they did him dirty in the movies. So hopefully what we get from this, even if we don't get great visuals or strong characterizations from actors, great actors, because how can you replace people like Maggie Smith? I mean, why even try? Adam Driver, whatever, could have done a really good Snape. There's a few actors out there who probably could have done good versions of the characters we were familiar with, as we were familiar with them. But yeah, I'm just looking at this, and it does seem like some people are calling it the Temu, Harry Potter, and it does seem like the TV version. Like, it does seem cheaper and not as dynamic. There's some good visuals there, but nothing like the original films. Now, supposedly these episodes are costing 10-20 million an episode, and they're apparently planning 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 seasons, but at the same time they're saying, but we can't guarantee a season a year. That's too much. I'm like, people used to do seasons of shows with 26 to 30 episodes a year. How is it now we can't get 8 to 10 episodes of a show in a year? And we've got young kids. These kids are going to age real quick. Now, it may take forever to do the special effects and that, but you have to shoot those kids doing their lines real fast before they age out of their roles. You don't want a Stranger Things situation. They really stretched the believability with that. By the time you got to the end, the actors were a lot older than their characters. But yeah, so it looked okay. I wasn't particularly impressed. There was a little bright spark right at the very end where Ron does his little "Are you Harry Potter?" and I saw something in that moment, but the rest of it was just like kid just walking through scenes, and I'm like, maybe cast a slightly older child. You need to be able to act, and he just didn't seem like he was had the talent of Mr. Radcliffe. But that's the thing; they're never going to be able to not be compared to those, and I don't think they're ever going to top them. They're always going to come up second, so that's an issue. So the only real reason to do this is, assuming you do more than like 6 episodes a season, you actually get time to really explore the characters and do all the things that were in the novels that weren't covered in the films. That's the only reason to do this. I understand that that is a motivation and something of value, but aside from that, I don't see anything here worth watching or any reason to do this other than just to make more money. If they were remaking them as films, it'd just be for money. But as a TV series with more time to getting to things that weren't covered in the books, weren't covered in the movies or in the books, that does make some sense. So I'll give them that. It's just a matter of now, do they actually do that?